The night my wife said it, she treated it like a joke she expected me to laugh at. We were in our kitchen in a quiet Ohio suburb, the kind of place where people mowed their lawns on Saturdays and waved from driveways. She leaned against the counter, arms crossed, a half smile on her lips, and said, "I need to find out if size really matters. You'll never know." "Don't worry." She waited for a reaction: anger, jealousy, fear. I felt all of it hit at once, but I didn't show a thing. I just looked at her and said, "Okay." The word landed heavier than I expected. Her smile faltered for half a second, then returned, sharper this time. She laughed, grabbed her phone, and told me she was meeting the girls later. As she walked away, I realized she wasn't just testing boundaries, she was convinced there were none. That I was too safe, too predictable, too afraid to leave. Over the next week she became lighter, almost giddy. She stayed out late, guarded her phone like it held state secrets, and spoke to me like I was a polite roommate instead of her husband. Every small comment carried the same message: "You won't do anything about this." I didn't argue. I didn't accuse. I watched. I noticed patterns, the same names popping up in group chats, the way girls' night suddenly became a regular excuse. The confidence in her voice when she spoke about me to others like I was an accessory she'd outgrown. And slowly something in me settled. Not rage, resolution. If she believed I was incapable of surprising her, that would be her mistake to own. By Thursday, I'd made a call I never thought I'd make. By Friday, everything was set. When she left that night, dressed a little nicer than usual, she kissed my cheek and told me not to wait up. I smiled and wished her fun. I wasn't waiting for her. I was waiting for the moment she'd finally see me clearly. The house was quiet after she left, but it didn't feel empty. I turned off the lights, sat in the living room, and let the minutes pass. Around midnight, my phone buzzed with a message from her. Still out. I didn't respond. At 1:22 in the morning, headlights swept across the living room wall. The front door unlocked, heels clicked against hardwood, and I heard her humming softly, carefree, victorious. Then she stepped into the living room and stopped cold. Her face froze, the color draining so fast it was almost unreal. Standing in front of her wasn't just me. Beside me stood someone she never expected to see there, someone who knew her secrets far too well. Her closest friend, the one who'd always defended her, who'd looked me in the eye and told me I was lucky. My wife's mouth opened, but no sound came out. "What is this?" she finally whispered, voice trembling. I didn't raise my voice. I told her calmly that her friend had come by earlier, that I'd asked a few questions, that when people think they're untouchable, they get careless. Her friend started crying immediately, words spilling out, how long it had been going on, how it started as curiosity and turned into routine, how they joked about me being clueless. My wife dropped her purse, its contents scattering across the floor. She stared at me like I was someone she'd never met. I handed her an envelope from the coffee table. Inside were printed messages, dates, photos, and hotel confirmations she thought were gone forever. Her hands shook as she flipped through them. "You invaded my privacy," she snapped weakly, grasping for control. I shook my head. "You invited this into our marriage?" I said. That's when panic finally replaced arrogance. She begged her friend to leave, and when the door closed behind her, my wife collapsed onto the couch, sobbing, apologizing, promising it meant nothing. I told her the truth. She wasn't ready to hear that curiosity without respect is just cruelty with excuses. That the moment she told me I'd never know, she'd already decided I didn't matter. The fallout wasn't dramatic, it was quiet and heavy. She moved out within days, staying with family, calling constantly at first, then less as reality settled in. Friends reacted differently. Some apologized for not speaking up. Others avoided me entirely, uncomfortable with the truth. I focused on rebuilding my life piece by piece, new routines, new habits, reclaiming parts of myself I'd shrunk to keep the peace. When we met weeks later to finalize things, she looked different, smaller. The confidence she once wore like armor was gone. She admitted she never thought I'd leave, never believed I'd choose myself. I told her that was the real betrayal, not the cheating, but the certainty that I'd accept being disrespected. As I walked away that day, I felt lighter than I had in years. Not because I'd won, but because I'd finally stopped losing myself. She wanted to find out if size really mattered. What she learned instead was that respect does, and once it's gone, no apology can bring it back. Months passed and life settled into a rhythm I didn't know I was capable of enjoying. The silence in the house stopped feeling loud and started feeling honest. I repainted the bedroom, donated clothes she'd criticized me for wearing, and filled weekends with things I used to love before I learned to make myself smaller. Running in the mornings turned into long conversations with my own thoughts, and those thoughts slowly stopped circling back to her words. I realized how deeply that single sentence, "you'll never know," had been meant to cage me. It wasn't about curiosity or temptation. It was about power. She wanted the freedom to do whatever she wanted while believing I'd stay exactly where she left me. That illusion shattered the night she opened the door and saw the truth standing in front of her. We crossed paths one last time at a mutual friend's gathering months later. She tried to smile, to seem unchanged, but it didn't quite land. She asked how I was doing, and for the first time, my answer didn't carry any weight from the past. "I'm good," I said, and meant it. As I drove home that night, it hit me that I hadn't thought about proving anything for a long time. Not to her. Not to anyone. I didn't need to be bigger, louder, or better than someone else. I just needed to be done accepting disrespect disguised as confidence. What she thought was a harmless joke had revealed everything I needed to know. And walking away wasn't a loss. It was the moment I finally chose myself. Thank you for listening to my story. If you've ever felt small in a relationship, remember that your self-respect is the one thing no one can take away from you. Please share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories. See you next time.